You understand things quickly, patterns, motives, hidden meanings. You notice what others miss. But instead of feeling powerful, your mind feels heavy. The more you understand the world, the harder it becomes to feel satisfied with it. You analyze conversations long after they end. You see problems before they happen. Sometimes it feels like your own mind won't give you peace. And a strange thought appears. Maybe knowing too much is the problem. So why do intelligent people often feel more restless, more dissatisfied, sometimes even more unhappy? The answer isn't what most people think. Because intelligence doesn't just give you answers. It changes how your brain experiences reality. When your mind is wired for deep thinking, it rarely stops at the surface. A simple situation becomes layered. Someone says something casually, but your brain searches for subtext. Was there sarcasm, hidden criticism, something unsaid? Where others move on, your mind keeps analyzing. And this doesn't only happen with conversations. It happens with life decisions, career paths, relationships, future plans. Instead of seeing one direction, you see 10 possibilities, 10 risks, 10 possible failures. The result is a constant mental noise, not loud, but persistent. Even moments that should feel peaceful become analytical. You watch a movie and your brain studies the characters. You observe group dynamics in a room. You predict outcomes before they happen. This ability is powerful, but it has a hidden cost, because the same mind that recognizes patterns also recognizes flaws in systems, in people, in society, and sometimes in yourself. Over time, this awareness slowly shapes identity. You might start seeing yourself as someone who thinks too much, can't relax, can't stop analyzing everything. But what's actually happening inside the brain is something deeper than overthinking. And the reason intelligent minds struggle with happiness has less to do with sadness and more to do with how the brain processes uncertainty. First, something important. Intelligence does not cause unhappiness, but it does increase awareness. And awareness changes how the brain experiences reality. Psychologists sometimes call this the awareness burden. The more patterns your brain detects, the harder it becomes to ignore uncomfortable truths. Think of it this way. If someone notices only the surface of a situation, they experience fewer mental conflicts. But a highly analytical mind sees contradictions, hidden incentives, long-term consequences. That awareness can make simple things feel complex, and complexity is something the brain struggles with emotionally. So the discomfort intelligent people feel is not weakness. It's the side effect of a mind that refuses to simplify reality. But that still doesn't fully explain the emotional weight. To understand that, we need to look at what intelligence actually changes inside the brain. The brain constantly predicts the future. This process is called predictive processing. Your brain builds models of how the world works and uses them to anticipate what might happen next. Highly analytical people build extremely detailed models. They simulate possibilities, outcomes, consequences. Imagine your brain like a chess player. A beginner sees 1 or 2 moves ahead. A grandmaster sees 10. But seeing 10 moves ahead has a psychological cost, because every additional possibility introduces uncertainty, and the brain reacts strongly to uncertainty. When many outcomes are possible, the brain activates its error detection system. This system is largely managed by the anterior cingulate cortex. Its job is to scan for potential problems. The more possibilities your brain generates, the more problems it predicts. So intelligence creates a paradox. Better prediction ability also increases perceived risk. And when the brain senses risk, it activates stress responses. Cortisol rises slightly. Your mind becomes more alert, more cautious, more analytical. Over time, this creates a loop. Thinking produces possibilities. Possibilities produce uncertainty. Uncertainty activates monitoring. Monitoring creates more thinking, which leads to a quiet but constant tension. This doesn't mean intelligent people are doomed to unhappiness, but it does mean their brains need different strategies for peace. And those strategies don't involve thinking less, they involve thinking differently. Breaking this cycle isn't about shutting down intelligence, it's about retraining how your mind interacts with its own thoughts. Here are 4 principles that help intelligent minds regain balance. Set specific times when analytical thinking is allowed. Outside those windows, deliberately step away from problem solving. The brain responds strongly to contextual cues. When thinking is limited to certain periods, the prefrontal cortex learns when deep analysis is necessary. This prevents constant background rumination. Instead of analyzing career decisions all day, you set a 20-minute thinking session in the evening. During that time, you explore possibilities. Outside that time, the brain slowly learns to release the problem. This turns thinking from a constant process into a controlled tool. Engage activities that require full sensory attention. Walking, cooking, exercise, music. Analytical thinking happens primarily in the default mode network, the brain system responsible for internal reflection. Sensory experiences activate different neural circuits that anchor attention in the present moment. Instead of replaying conversations while walking home, you focus on physical sensations, footsteps, breathing, the sound of traffic in the distance. This interrupts rumination without suppressing thought. The brain simply moves to a different mode. Allow some questions to remain unanswered. Highly analytical minds crave closure, but many real-life situations are ambiguous. Accepting partial understanding reduces cognitive tension. Psychologists call this tolerance for ambiguity. You might wonder why someone acted distant in a conversation. Your brain wants a definitive explanation. Instead, you acknowledge, "I may never know the exact reason." That statement signals to the brain that the search can stop. Use your analytical ability to build purpose, not just analyze problems. The brain experiences greater satisfaction when thinking contributes to meaningful action. This activates reward circuits linked to dopamine. Instead of endlessly analyzing social dynamics, you apply your insights to help someone understand a conflict. Your intelligence becomes constructive, not just observational. Think of intelligence like a powerful microscope. It allows you to see details most people overlook. But if you look through a microscope all the time, the world begins to look fragmented, tiny pieces, endless imperfections. Sometimes clarity comes not from zooming in further, but from stepping back, from allowing the mind to experience the whole picture. Your intelligence is not the enemy, it's a tool. But like any tool, it works best when you decide when to use it and when to put it down. Your mind may always be active, always curious, always searching for deeper patterns. That's part of who you are. But awareness does not have to mean suffering. Sometimes peace comes not from understanding everything, but from allowing some parts of life to simply exist. Unanalyzed, unsolved, just experienced. Because intelligence can show you how complex the world is. But wisdom begins the moment you realize that not every truth needs to be examined for you to live a meaningful life. If this helped, like this video, subscribe for more psychology every week. See you next time.